Hell's Satans, huh? I'm watching you, punks.
Can't hassle us, pig. We're going the speed limit. Oink, oink, oink.
Yeah, pig.
Oink, oink, oink.
You'll make a mistake someday, and then you're going straight to juvie.
You can lock us away, but you'll never defeat the Cobras.
Cobras? I thought you were the Hell's Satans.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to What the Hell Happened to Them? Jack Attacks the Cast. That's right, we're doing Jack Nicholson this season. I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill, and joining me on the line is the dribbly Joe Vekeman. Is that what
Hi.
dribbly is?
I think so.
Okay.
I said dribbling, so I was dribbling things out of my mouth.
All right. And on the audio boards is Lev Van Rensselaer reminding me to remind you that you can email the cast at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com. And Joe, we do have an email from Alice W. Alice asks, what happened on the 138th episode Spectacular? You had said you were going to be doing Adam Sandler remix episodes. Are those still coming out? Well, yes. Yes, we are. We've actually recorded one, but what we've decided to do instead of the 4 to 6 week release schedule that we had planned is we like to record these when we have free time and then have them as backups, because there are possibilities that I'll get very busy soon, and so having some wiggle room to give you guys constant content but still keep on our current track, like that's the way to kind of patch up some of those holes. So they are coming. Stay on the lookout. It'll be that's how you know we got up to something that week and weren't able to record. But that's the idea. They're there as a break in case of emergency. They will all get released soon, don't you worry. And our sponsor this week is Waffles. WAWFULS. On a diet, but love eating waffles? Try to have this waffle replacement. The waffles so bad, you won't want to eat them anymore. Waffles. WAWFULS. That's an odd product, but okay. Joe, what movie are we doing this week?
We watched Hell's Angels on Wheels.
Yeah, you thought they were scary by themselves. Wait till you see them on wheels. Joe, what happens in the Sons of Anarchy prequel? Dads of Anarchy.
Aw, man. You took my thing. At first, gas station attendant Poet is happy when the Rockers gang Hell's Angels finally accepts him. But he's shocked when he learns how brutal they are. Not even murder is taboo to them. He gets himself in trouble when the leader's girlfriend falls in love with him, and he welcomes her approaches.
Was his name actually Poet?
His name is Poet.
His name is really Poet.
They named him Poet, yes.
They named him Poet. Why did they name him Poet?
I mean, the script
the screenwriter's
writer
named Poet?
named.
Yeah. Okay. Nobody said his name until near the end of the movie, and then I thought, is that like a weird nickname that he get? Like, when was he doing poetry stuff? Did I miss something?
Maybe he looks like one.
Maybe?
He has poet qualities.
Poet anger, because he's just beating everybody up and being bad at it. Yeah, Jack Nicholson, second build, but does feel like the main character. This other guy must be a bigger actor at the time.
Adam Rourke. He was in El Dorado with, looks like John Wayne.
Okay, that would be big.
El Dorado with John Wayne and Robert Mitchum and James Caan. Wow.
Oh, geez. That's a stacked cast.
You want to know who directed it?
Who?
Howard Hawks.
Well, there's a good movie. There you go.
No big deal.
I'm sure all of our listeners are well versed in the Howard Hawks filmology. I'm sure they get that right away.
He made movies for another 10 years.
Yeah, he's a big deal filmmaker, but I worry that he's, people I think still know John Ford. Even if they're not cinema people, I don't think people know Howard Hawks. This movie is a type of movie that came out a lot at this time, and I know there's at least one more movie like this with Jack Nicholson on our list coming up at some point. And it's like this faux, it's not faux, but like borrowing a lot of verite style tricks to explore a particular subculture from the point of view of the subculture. And you usually have a person coming in from the outside that's like our point of view into learning about how this group works. What was odd about this movie was there was a lot of active participation from the actual Hells Angels and another motorcycle group. And yet...
Oh, hold on. I can remember them. They were the... Oh, God. Oh, hold on.
Seems like you can't remember them.
No, I'm going to, because they're like featured in that Sons of Anarchy show. They both are. Like, at least in the pilot episode. I'll let you know in 5 minutes.
It's the Nomads.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Asshole. Did you have that the whole time?
You said you were. I didn't want to like jump the gun for you.
You had it the whole time.
I knew it. I didn't know we needed to.
I was going to help you out. Oh,
you were helping me? I thought you wanted to do it for fun. Like you were like, I know this, Patrick. Hold on. I didn't want to be like, well, the Nomads, Joe. And you're like, fuck you, Pat.
No, I've never said that. No,
okay,
I've
great.
always approached you. Okay, go on.
So they're actively participating in this movie, and yet the movie doesn't paint them super terrible, but also doesn't paint them particularly well. I think it's gonna begin like that, but then like they immediately murder a person, and then I go, okay, right? Why did they okay this? This was fine. Did they not know the whole script, or like what's going on here? Apparently, they're also hippies. That kind of surprised me about I guess that was just the late '60s. Everybody doing hippie stuff.
Holy shit. Okay. So the president of the Hells Angels, Sonny Barger Jr., his real name is Ralph Hubert Sonny Barger Jr., he just passed away this summer, June 29th, 83 years old. He was in the Hells Angels, though, from 1957 till his death.
He's probably not riding around with them as much, but he's still, like, honorary member.
Yeah, he had 10 years to life imprisonment in 1973 and 4 years of imprisonment in 1989.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just were, like, really on. They're like, yeah, this is what we do. We don't treat people very well, but if you're one of us, then we're buds. We dump oil on you.
This is what we do. We don't treat people really well.
I just thought if they were involved, we would get a little cleaner version of, like, their antics. And
I agree.
We got a
We didn't
even look at it. Like there wasn't. Yeah. I don't think there was not judgment
Unbiased.
passed. It was like, here's what they do. They murdered somebody, but they protected each other. They murder somebody at the end, and this one woman rats him out, and then and then they help him.
With the cops smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
The end.
And they bust their friend out of police custody in a scene where they clearly had run out of budget. This was the part of the movie where they realized they had no money, so they tell us what they're going to do, and then they leave having done it.
Yeah, they're like, go to the fork in the road.
We're going to go to the fork in the road, we're going to jump them, and all of a sudden we see
like
some cops tumbling in dust, and then like they're gone. And I go, wow, that was quick.
The end, like big the end.
Well, no, there's a whole ending scene that happens. The movie begins with this weird score. This is not lazy composing, it's just very confusing composing.
I agree.
It's like weird, bubbly, flower power music.
Yes.
And I'm like, are we getting like a weird comedy movie? They're gonna do silly motorcycle things? And then the movie's sort of very straight-laced for a lot of it. But anytime they're riding around, flowery hippie music,
or like
long shots of it too. It's just long. We watch them all go around a box truck, like one by one. Very verite-like. We're just seeing them drive. The police give them escorts out of town so they don't screw up traffic patterns like they were doing at the beginning. Oh yeah, this is another movie, another Jack Nicholson movie where a guy randomly goes into a lady's car unannounced. It just seems to be a theme here.
Yeah, so I was feeling like there were similarities between this and The Wild Ride, and they're like 10 years apart.
Yeah.
Did you get any same similarities with that?
Same kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
Where Jack Nicholson is playing the opposite role that he was playing in Wild Ride.
Yeah. He's also he feels like he's acting different in this. Like his acting style has changed a little bit. Just
Could
like he's
be.
modulated
He's
it.
been at it for 7 years
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
He can do the two different sides of the character. I don't know if he's found the core truth of the character, though, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, they feel like just two different characters, and depending on the scene, he plays one of them. The range has increased, I'll say, but he hasn't kind of found it yet, in my mind.
I agree. We're on the same page on this one. I like the movie a lot, though. I thought it was fun.
Yeah,
How'd you feel about it?
Was like meh for a lot of it, and then we got to the ending scene, and I go, wow, all right, this is a cool idea. You know, Jack Nicholson has been in love with the biker leader's girlfriend for a lot of the movie for whatever reason. And she doesn't seem to like being there, and the biker leader's not nice to her. And then it turns out she's pregnant from that guy, but that guy doesn't care. And so Jack's like, well, I'll marry you. And she's like, really? And she's like, moved. And then the biker guy comes and starts beating him up for talking to his lady. And then they get into a big fight, and it looks like Jack's going to win. And then the biker lady gives the bad boyfriend a weapon. And Jack's like, what the fuck? And he just, like, leaves. And I go, awesome! You did it, movie. You pulled out of the nosedive and you had a good ending. And then the ending kept going. Where
I know.
the biker guy is so mad that Jack is leaving that he gets on his bike and tries to run him over and jump. There's a window there, I guess, I wasn't expecting. And then he just sort of falls over and burns to death. We were like a minute away from having a really great ending. And then we got this aggressively low-budget, Hays Code kind of BS ending. And this is very customary in these movies, too, where we follow these kind of like subculture renegades. And even like this, if the movie feels like it's condoning or not judging the character's actions, they still have to pay at the end. At the end of the ride, what was it, Wild Ride? Like, Jack Nicholson has to go to jail. At the end of this movie, this guy has to randomly crash and burn up. We're going to see in the other movie, too. They have to pay for subverting normal cultural expectations. And this movie was that close to getting away with it, and it didn't, and it just couldn't. They were forced to do it, or something happened, and they had to shoehorn that in there at the very end. Very annoying.
Yeah, it was. Can I take you down just
To
a
Funky
little
Town?
if you want to go?
Nah, I don't.
Okay. Well, can I still take you down a path?
You take me down somewhere else.
So, did you watch this on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, I watched it on YouTube as well. Thank you, YouTube. You're great. You've been very helpful this season so far.
It's been crazy how many Jack Nicholson movies are just freely available on YouTube.
Well, they're like almost 60 years old at this point.
Yeah, but like a lot of things before that aren't out of copyright.
That's true.
WB's going crazy because Superman and Batman are almost out of copyright. They're not sure how they're going to handle that.
Let it lapse. Let everyone have it.
A new law is probably going to get passed suspiciously soon.
Okay, so I just want to read you a couple of these comments. So on YouTube,
You read the YouTube comments? Okay.
Yeah, no, they're hilarious for this movie.
All right, go on.
So people have just left comments for the movie. The first one, which has 42 likes. The year was 1967, and my grandma took my dad to see this movie in the theaters. He said this movie and the song Blues Theme was what made him want to be a biker for life. And he was. Rest in peace, Dad. It's just a roller coaster. All right. I love riding with a passion. I can only imagine how fun it would have been back in these days. User Justin Sane, 4 years ago. I saw this when I was 17. Went to the movies to see it. Still remember every line and scene. Okay.
From the one time watching it in the theater?
This is 1 year ago. Remember watching this as a kid with my dad. Loved it then and loved it now. Got to be one of the best I've seen. Except that ending. Happy New Year, everyone!
It's nice of him to add that at the end.
I'm just imagining someone like pulling this movie up. It's December 31st or January 1st, and someone's like, "Wow, let me just reminisce, leave a comment, and say Happy New Year."
Okay.
Johnny says from 4 years ago, which got 92 likes. Actually, loved the movie. Much better than the junk of today.
Yeah, having seen some junk of today, he's not wrong. I'd take this over The Invitation.
Yeah, I got two more. Okay, The Invitation. Yeah, your review was this remake is nowhere near as good. That's
nowhere near as good as the old Invitation.
3 months ago. This is fairly recent. I remember seeing this when I was a kid on TV at 2 a.m. on Saturday night. I was a fan of Jack Nicholson and was fascinated by biker culture. This was one of the first films that I ever saw that depicted pot smoking, the first being Friday the 13th. Still love watching this movie after all these years. What?
Those are the first two, huh? First two marijuana movies, eh?
Those movies are both there was 15 years apart. Anyway,
they didn't want to watch Reefer Madness, though. Couldn't get that on TV.
When I read the comment originally, I said it's the first being Friday, and then I was like, oh yeah, Friday, like Ice Cube. And it said the 13th. I'm like, oh,
it's a very different movie.
Last one. I remember seeing this at the drive-in. I was 7 years old, and I made my dad take me to see it. My dad was a motorcycle junkie, so he did not mind. I just love these movies. I was too young to go to a regular theater, but not too young to go to the drive-in. I swear I've seen every one of these movies. What? Just motorcycle movies?
Motorcycle movies? There's a lot of them, especially around that time. They were big.
Okay, we had fun. All right.
So we've heard what the amateurs have to say, but what about our friend Roger?
Roger.
Oh, you wish. He didn't fucking talk about this movie.
What? Man.
I'm sorry. I have no critics' reviews on this.
Okay.
I'll look around. But,
well, the movie,
go on.
Very big deal, because apparently it cost $63 on Amazon. That's the only physical media you can find. A $63 out-of-print DVD. It says they have a Blu-ray, but none of those copies aren't available anywhere.
Oh, yeah. The only money I've seen this thing is it says it made $3 million with rental sales.
Very well.
That's a good amount.
People dying very easily in this movie. Obviously, the guy at the end dies almost on purpose, it seems.
You need to die. It says it in the scene.
He's like, oh, fine. I'm going to die the stupidest way possible. Guy in the car crash dies. I could see that one. That the sailor who dies early on in the film, I don't know how he could have died. He falls to the ground, and then suddenly all the other ones are on the ground too. They didn't die. This guy didn't feel the fall any particularly worse than the others.
If you remember, the sailors are on the ground flat, like they're ready for their chalk outlines.
Yeah, and none of these bikers are wearing helmets. None of them. Not a one.
Of course not.
Not a one.
Safety, not first.
Well, the couple that are just wearing World War I German war helmets.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
And a couple of the bikers very proudly had their swastika tattoos. They were like, yeah, we're cool.
Sure.
I wish the main girl in this movie was played by Millie Perkins. Would have been great.
Don't you miss her?
She could have been a chicken.
Yeah.
A chicken, with a curious obsession with abuse.
When you told me that, was that last week?
It's 2 weeks ago. Last week was Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yeah, but just she's great. We're never going to see her again, are we?
No, we are not. Nope.
Maybe we should just do a Millie Perkins season.
We've done the 2 movies. We've done it.
What, has she got 6?
3. She done the 3 movies. She was in that other one, Ensign Pulver. We get some faux Beatles kind of music there in the middle, which again adds to the hippie driving aesthetic, which seemed out of place. It was confusing to know what the movie wanted us to feel. Another movie that was sort of confusing in what tone it wanted to take. This week's Watergate Watch.
Watergate, oh, Watergate.
Watch.
Hit me with it.
Yes, this week I watched Will, G. Gordon Liddy from 1982. G. Gordon Liddy once again cementing that he is the most interesting person involved in the Watergate scandal because he is just legitimately crazy. Everybody else was corrupt and cronyist and, whatever, incompetent. He's just a legitimate insane person that they willingly invited into their menage. So let me tell you about this movie. It is based off of his autobiography, which is why it came out so soon. So we had the Coulson-based retelling of the events and the John Dean one. Now we get the G. Gordon Liddy one. It's based off his autobiography. So what was weird about it was how many things in it don't make him look good. Some of the stuff we got from the gaslit thing, we see him with his German au pair growing up. She and he are listening to Hitler broadcasts during the war. They show him bungling up a bunch of stuff. They have him saying the weirdest shit to, like, the FBI people that are training him, and he's not painted in a very good light here. He even gets, like, beat up a lot in jail, and then at the end, he does, like, this big Heil Hitler salute. It's like a weird... He's not very flattering, and the movie doesn't seem to care. So on the one hand, I think it's weird he wrote that and put it into his autobiography. That's the stuff you would, like, leave out. You'd want to clean up a lot of it. So then I'm thinking, is he proud of these things? Like, he thinks these things aren't actually bad, so of course he's putting them in the book? And then the other thing is, why are the producers not commenting on this at all? They're not demonizing him, so they want it to feel like this big kind of triumphant story. Basically, the crux is we see, like, how he got involved into Watergate, and then the last third we spend with him in jail, and he's, like, fighting against the warden that's mistreating all the prisoners. And so you're like, okay, interesting way to heroize this crazy person. But then at the end, as they're all cheering him on for beating the warden, he does this big Hail Hitler salute, and then everybody's like, whoa, dude. And then the movie's over. So I don't know what the producers want us to take away from it. My best guess, and it's just a TV movie, it was aired on NBC, but my best guess is they just wanted to make money. Everybody's still into Watergate. We got this other autobiography about a guy everybody knows from The Thing. Let's tell this Watergate story. And then they're like, what do we do? He doesn't come off very well in this. And they go, it doesn't matter. People are going to watch it. And indeed we did.
I'm looking up the movie that you were talking about. What is it? The autobiography
G. Gordon
of
Liddy.
G. Gordon Liddy.
Yeah.
The director, Rob Lieberman, Canadian director.
Oh, by the way, it's actually pretty well directed. For a TV movie, clearly the guy was trying. So I'm impressed a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some features under his belt.
He put effort in.
Not at that point, maybe. He directed D3, The Mighty Ducks.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
He didn't get in on the ground floor. He got the third one.
Big shoes to fill.
No. He's got a Stone Cold Steve Austin direct-to-DVD movie called The Stranger.
Based on the Albert Camus book, I'm sure.
Yeah, you wish.
Yeah.
He's got this another hockey movie.
Canadian,
Tell us
Joe.
it's fucking Canadian.
Yeah.
It's called Breakaway. And then he did a Tom Clancy with Scott Bakula, Brian Dennehy, Judge Ryan. What a cast!
Yeah. It's the Canadian A-team you got there.
Brian Dennehy, Chris Christopherson, Judge Reinhold. It's called Net Force. It's 2 hours and 34 minutes. Real Tom Clancy vibes with that.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like Netflix's Secret Police Force.
Yeah, he's like the king of schlock. Oh my god. He's got another sports movie. This time it's football. American football. Buffalo Bills. Called Second Sitting. He's never really worked, just trying not to offend anyone, he's never really worked with, like, big movie stars.
Yeah, you are, in fact, insulting.
I'm sure.
Brian Dennehy.
Emilio Estevez.
And Judge Reinhold.
I think Judge Reinhold would be like, hey, I have not headlined a movie in close to 30 years.
He's like, hey, I get it.
Maybe 40. Was I the star of Fast Times? It's for you to judge.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. Okay.
Yes.
Go on. I just want to talk about the director.
Where was I? Oh, yeah, so he's directing. He's got, like, deep focus going on and thematic dollies. Like, he's putting in some crazy amount of effort that I think most people wouldn't have with this really weird script. The rat theme comes back, Joe. There's a lot of the early movie where he's rats. He's like in places. He's like at the bottom of a ship with rats, and there's like a rat that sneaks into his room after he gets punished.
Yeah,
and he
1982.
Yeah, and he's getting bullied, And I think we're going to see him with the rat in prison, like in Gaslit. We don't get that far, but he's getting bullied at school and by his father, and who's, by the way, a way better actor than the main character of the film.
Oh, is it? No, it's not. Is it James Rebhorn?
It's nobody you know.
Okay, well, I saw James Rebhorn was in the cast. I was like, oh.
Yeah, well, maybe then. I don't know. The father did a better G. Gordon Liddy than the main guy, but little boy G. Gordon Liddy... He takes out all of his aggression on one of the rats he sees. He, like, beats it to death, and then he cooks it over a fire and eats it. And he says to his cat, see, I'm gonna have all the power. And I go, this is what you put in your autobiography?
Yeah, hell yeah.
This is what sociopaths do.
The alternative title for this should have been The Rat King.
Yeah.
Come on.
So
he's got it.
There is that. Oh, so his uncle was in the FBI when he was growing up. And his uncle, for his birthday, gives him a gun. And he's like 8.
Wow.
And his parents look at each other like, no.
They say, don't shoot your eye out.
But the kid likes the gun so much, they can't take it away from him. And at the FBI, he's taught, do whatever you need to do to carry out your mission, as long as it doesn't embarrass the FBI. Do whatever it takes. And which is, I think, why... Or he always goes up to John Dean. He's like, listen, if you need to shoot me because this went bad, I get it and I'm ready. And John Dean's like, whoa.
Here's a gun.
Yeah, whoa, we're not doing that. But he like, doesn't want to embarrass the president or anything. So that kind of makes sense. He does the hand burning thing.
Oh.
From the beginning of Gaslit, and they make reference to it vaguely in another thing where he's got the bandage around his hand. He's trying to do one of the missions for Watergate, and he's like, he's talking to this hooker lady, and he says, I'm going to hire you to work for the Democrat re-election committee and just give me all the details. And she's like, I don't know. I don't want someone to find out. He goes, don't worry, I'm not going to talk. I would never talk. I wouldn't do that. And then he holds his hand over the candle to prove it. And she's like, no, you can stop. And he goes, nope, I'm proving it. She's like, you're so fucking crazy. I don't want to do this. And she leaves.
Doesn't he understand that if he comes off as crazy, no one's going to believe him or want to?
He doesn't think he's crazy. Like, that's why I'm like, is that why he's putting this into the books? And he talks about... Sir, he's working now in the FBI, and he's like, sir, can I take some time off? I'm getting married. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, congratulations. And he's like, thank you. She has very good genes. She's tall. Her father's a very powerful political figure. I think she's going to bear me 6 very powerful children. What? Wow. That's in the autobiography. Wow. His wife's going to read that. He's a lawyer too, apparently, and so in one particular case, he goes to the jury, and he's like, the prosecution asserts that my defendant fired off a gun, but obviously the people would have heard it. Let me prove this to you now, and then like fires a gun in the courtroom in front of the jurors so he can be like, see, look how loud that is. That's in the autobiography
My question
too.
Is, how popular were autobiographies back then? Because they're super popular now, and I feel like that's more popular than like most fiction. People
I bet they're still popular. I bet
stories.
they're insanely. Everybody's like, oh, wow.
Well, I'm saying my point would be that there was no audiobooks back then, so it's a lot harder to get through these things. So people are like, I'll write whatever the fuck I want. Maybe people will believe me when I say.
John Dean's doing it and Coulson's doing it, and it's always from like a nice point of view. Or when Nixon wrote his, it was like, here's all the accomplishments I did as president. I'm not talking about the Watergate stuff. And you say, like, makes sense. You're in this for your own best interest. But G. Gordon Liddy's like, yes, this is what made me great. I go,
yeah,
okay.
He's like, sensationalize me.
All right, G. Gordon Liddy. As a lawyer or an FBI guy, he gets this really big hippie drug bust thing. It's a big deal thing. It makes him pretty famous. And so then he says, I'm going to run for Congress. And he does it for a little bit. And in the movie, some people are listening to his campaign speech, and they in the crowd, and they go, this guy's nuts. And then they leave. And I go, you put this... What is this movie trying to tell me? But anyway, he's running for Congress, and then somebody comes up to him and says, listen, you're not going to win. But here's the deal. This guy, John Mitchell, he's working on the president's re-election campaign, and he wants you, the campaign manager, actually, and he wants you to help him. And if you do that, there could be a lucrative position in Washington for you. And he goes, well, I really want to run for Congress. And the guy's like, you are not winning because you are a weirdo. And he goes, okay, fine. And that's how he gets on John Mitchell's radar and Jeb Magruder's radar. Another movie where a person thinks Jeb Magruder's just an idiot. And Jeb Magruder once again blamed for going back into Watergate unprepared. This is the one moment where I'm like, is G. Gordon Liddy painting himself positively here? Basically, he's like, I need to go and when and where I think we're ready. And Jeb Magruder's like, nope, you're going tonight. See ya. And like that's why everything kind of got botched, because they weren't fully planned and ready to go. He goes to 2 different prisons. One of them sort of initially is like, whatever. People try to beat him up, so he decides to out-crazy them, which he's very good at doing. But then the judge, trying to get him to talk and admit to White House involvement, sends him to an even worse prison for 20 years. Howard Hunt's there too, and Howard Hunt's like, hey, listen, I'm going to talk. Everybody knows everything already anyway, so I'm going to talk and get a reduced sentence. G. Gordon Liddy thinks to himself, I'm waiting for the time when I'm asked to eliminate Howard Hunt to protect the presidency. This is the delusions he's telling himself. So anyway, like I said, he's helping. He himself is having a fight with the warden because the warden's sending letters to his wife that make it sound like G. Gordon Liddy's cheating on her. And he's really pissed off about that. Fortunately, his wife doesn't believe it. And so he goes to war with them, but then it kind of makes things harder for the other prisoners, and they've got like this class action lawsuit against the warden trying to prove about the unconstitutional conditions of the prison. And so he's like, I'm going to help you. And not only is he the lawyer for this case while he's still in jail, they also say, well, how are you going to be able to get the evidence we need? And he goes, I'm going to do one thing I know how to do very well. I'm going to tap their phones. I don't know how he's tapping phones from prison, but I like that he goes back to the same well, despite it having not gone great for him beforehand. So he goes, he does that, he wins it, like I said, he's a big hero, then he does the weird Heil Hitler thing, and there you go. And a couple years later, Jimmy Carter seems to pardon him, because he's pardoned during Jimmy Carter's term. I don't know why Jimmy Carter felt the need to do that, or wanted to do that. If Gerald Ford had done it, I'd get it, but this felt odd. So he's only in jail for like 4 years, and then goes off and writes a book and has his weird, crazy chalk show.
Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carts.
You got any words on him?
Yeah, the Simpsons had a pretty good joke where they're like, we're going to get this Lincoln statue, but then they didn't raise enough money at the fundraiser, so they said, well, we could only afford this Jimmy Carter statue. And then it has him and he's like shrugging, and then it just underneath it says Malaise Forever on the statue. Pretty good joke.
Thank you. That's all I needed.
Yeah, so that's the Watergate Watch this week. This one, mercifully, much shorter than the other one. And then again, it's basically I'm watching this really disturbing sitcom, so I'm into it.
You've been watching a disturbing sitcom?
That's what G. Gordon Liddy movie feels like.
Okay.
It's like kind of kooky, but also like a little, this is real?
Yeah.
It's like season 1 Michael Scott of The Office.
Oh.
That's what it's very cringy, but also kind of amusing.
Season 1 Leslie Knope.
See, yeah. So
it's the same trajectory. How many more do you got? You got a lot left?
Let's take a tally here, shall we? 4 movies left.
Oh, wow. You really got through
a lot of
this summer.
TV movies still.
I got a TV movie to watch.
What do you got to watch?
I want to say this right. It's the Kane Mutiny Court Martial. I believe it's a TV movie. Okay. It's a Robert Altman movie.
Ah, well, there you go.
I've watched a couple. I didn't really like them that much, the TV movies, but whatever.
Wait till you see Secret Ambition.
What's that?
That's his Watergate TV movie.
Oh, you mean Secret Honor?
What did I say?
You said Secret Ambition. I was like, wait.
Well, I'm confusing it with Blind Ambition, obviously.
That's okay. Yeah, no, I haven't watched that one yet. I don't know why. I should just fucking put it on. It's like 90 minutes. It's short for an Altman.
Yeah, it's one guy talking, so you can get through it kind of easy.
Yeah.
Before we go to last looks, we've got Football Around the World. Football Round the World.
Oh, okay.
So I got to watch the championship game of the Hungarian American Football League.
Yeah, right before American football starts up, right?
Yeah, between this actually aired back in June, at the beginning of June, but I couldn't get to it for a bit because of all the European League of Football going on. But anyway, we had the Gyor Sharks versus the Budapest Cowbells. I picked the Sharks because that sounded like a cooler team name.
I mean, yes, it did.
And their mascot is like this shark with beefy legs holding a football. I'm like, street sharks. The Gyor Sharks are jawsome.
Yeah.
I went with them. Actually, a very good game. It was ended up being very close. It came down to like a 2-point difference. It was right there in the last play. The Gyor Sharks just had a pretty good defense. Kicking in general in Europe seems to be not good all throughout Europe for some reason. Their kicking game is really bad. I don't know why. When I watch the Hamburg Sea Devils, it's not like their kicking team is particularly bad because all their opponents are just as bad at kicking. So I don't know. I don't know why. So that was a great team. I'll look forward to more Gyor Sharks in the future. There don't seem to be many teams in the Hungarian Football League. Surprise, surprise.
Where the fuck do you find this? Gyor Sharks? The Cowbells?
Yeah, the Budapest Cowbells. There's the Fehérvár Enthroners, which is a great name. And the Miskolc Steelers. And I think those are all the teams. Oh, the Kiev Capitals. But I don't think they're in the league. I think that's like a team from a different league, and there was like a fun game between the two teams.
Yeah. Do you think that the Budapest Cowbells were really like pitching for their coach to be Christopher Walken?
Yeah, that should have been the mascot instead of this stupid-looking cow. It doesn't have beefy legs at all like the Gyor Sharks. Let me show you them. I'm going to show you the mascot.
He just comes out. He's like, we're all going to be wearing gold-plated diapers.
Yeah. Look at this shark, Joe. Some masculine legs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
and is it holding a football with a jersey on?
Yeah. It's a cool. Let me tell you something. Trying to find a Gyor Sharks hat, not easy.
Oh, you were looking for one?
Yeah, I'm a Sharks fan now. Let's go. That was a good game.
All right.
Yeah, they're not too widely available stateside and probably in Hungary. Probably not a mass market item, sadly.
I mean, you get off the plane in Hungary and you're like, can't get enough of these Gyor Shark hats. They're everywhere.
Yeah, everybody in Gyor is just like, the Sharks are on. Hooray. Kaloo, Calais. The Gyor Sharks are
all
back.
The bars are just like fucking filled with all the Sharks fans.
Yeah, somebody walks through with a cowbell shirt and they like spit on him.
Throwing dirt on him.
Yeah.
But like the streets are empty when the Sharks games are on.
Yeah.
You're like, what is happening? I just got here. Where is everybody?
Yeah, the stadium is packed. The lights are bright. All right. What a world it would be. Yeah, Bellatar's in the stands and he's like, go Sharks, go. Waving around a little banner.
He's like, my next movie. It's about the Sharks.
Yeah, show them the meaninglessness of life. Go, Sharks. Put those cows out to pasture like the first 10 minutes of Satan Tango. Go, Sharks, go.
That joke was for yourself.
Yeah. All right. We've gone off the rails a bit here.
Right. Yeah, we got goofy.
What are your last looks, Joe, on the Hell's Angels on Wheels?
Well, I didn't love it, but I really liked it. I thought it was fun. It was a breeze. Went by fast. It was kind of silly when they had their party scenes and everyone's like painting each other, right?
That was the directing was
a little odd. That's the flowery music you were talking about.
It seemed the directing was odd here because it didn't seem to. It was very. I say verite because it felt very hands off. He's just like, all right, you guys just party now for 12 minutes, and I'm just gonna shoot random sections of it. All right, you guys go riding down the highway for 8 minutes, and I'm just gonna shoot random bits of it. It didn't feel like there was a real goal with the movie. It did feel documentary-esque in a lot of ways. It wasn't interested in a particular plot. There was a thin through line with this girlfriend thing. And other than that, it's just like, it's not even about his initiation into the group and like slowly becoming like them. That just was a convenient way to keep him around. Yeah, I don't know. I had a harder time with it. There were a lot of moments where it was fine, and there were a lot of moments that just like went on, and I'm like, well, some more directorial choices might have been easier to keep me engaged.
Yeah, you should do laundry when you watch some of these movies.
Yeah,
it goes by a lot
apparently.
faster.
I try to just pay attention to them to do the job well of the show, but
You don't need to pay attention to a 12-minute painting party
I
scene.
didn't know it was going to keep going on. And by the way, that painter was very good at drawing on those
Yes.
lady torsos. Like, you got some, like, pseudo Monets on there anyway. Good work, painter guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
That was fun.
That's my last looks. Why does Jack Nicholson do this movie? Well, because it's not a big movie and he's got a pretty big part in it.
Yeah.
He's still clawing his way up. It's a role that's not bad for him. You know, when like immediately we see him and he's yelling at this guy in his car, I go like, okay, this is a very Jack Nicholson role. The softer sides, he didn't, he got to, but it didn't feel in line with the other aspects of his character, so there's that. But other than that, seems a very reasonable choice for him. It's kind of in his wheelhouse mostly. He must enjoy motorcycles to some degree, because it's not the last motorcycle movie we're going to see.
Nope.
And maybe part of that inspired the movies that are coming up. I don't know. We'll see. Well, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Waffles, W-A-W-L. How do you spell waffle? F-U-L. I'm sorry, Lev. I screwed that one up.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
W-A-W-F-U-L. I should have kept the copy around. I sort of threw it away.
F-U-L? What are you
F-U-L.
Waffle? Like fulls?
Waffles.
Fulls.
Waffles. If you're on a diet but can't kick your waffle addiction, waffles. You'll never want waffles again.
Never want that ad again.
I'd like to thank Lev Van Rensselaer for minding those audio boards, keeping us sound so slippery smooth. And of course, I'd like to thank my co-host Joe Vekeman for stopping by.
Of course, thank you.
And I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill. You may find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at QuixoticUnited.com and social media, presumably with a similar sounding name. Thank you all for listening. Joe, say goodnight.
Good night.
And so high, chasing the sun, feeling the wind, blowing the city from my brain. Moving but going nowhere.
I got a haircut. Wow, the coldest of cold.
Well, here's what I'll say, Joe. I didn't notice the haircut. Was it much longer?
Yes, it was in my face.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
You don't remember I have to swoop it out of the way? Now I don't have to swoop it out of the way.
Oh, well, now you're not going to be able to fit into Green Day anymore.
Oh, shut up.
Well, Joe, you may have noticed I went to see 2 movies this week at the theater.
Yeah, you watched a lot of the shooting.
Well, no, those were, I had forgot to log.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, good decisions. No, you chose poorly, but you rated wisely.
Yeah, for the shooting, I'd watched it a bunch that week. I just never logged any of those because I forgot.
My thing is, though, you rate it 3.5 stars. You watched it 3 times. You might want to rate it 5.
Well, I watched it for us, and then I watched it to make sure the Blu-ray was good, and then I watched the commentary. I did that all in like an 8-day span.
But according to your letterboxd, you watched the shooting once on the 29th after watching Dear Mr. Shakespeare, Shakespeare Lives. Then you watched The Invitation. Then you watched Beast. Then you watched the shooting. Then you watched Ride the Whirlwind. Then you watched the shooting. Then you watched the shooting.
Yeah,
you sound like a psychopath.
I don't fuss with the dates. I just put them in there when I remember to do it.
I'm very curated with my dates.
Yeah, I just too much time had gone by. I didn't remember the Beast. Here's what I'll say about the Beast and the Invitation.
Why did you see that?
Hollywood has forgotten or is just bad at writing dialogue now. That's what both of these movies showed me. No one knows how to write for real people anymore. The end.
Well, my defense, which of a movie I haven't, neither movie I've seen. My defense in Beast is it's one of those like survival action movies, I'm guessing. So the dialogue isn't like crucial. The Invitation,
No.
it's like that feels like a more crucial. Like you need to have clever dialogue or like scintillating something. You need energy. I don't know what the Invitation was trying to go for though.
So a friend and I had come to visit, and we sort of have a history of watching kind of just like crappy movies. So we were like, which Idris Elba movie do we want to do this weekend?
You chose poorly.
He's a busy guy. Well, so that was the thing. Like, well, we know what we're getting with Beast. The 3,000 Years of Longing could be really good. It could be actually good, or could be like way worse. If it's bad, it's going to be atrocious. So we didn't know. So we played it safe. We did Beast, and then we thought, well, let's just go into the other theater and watch it. Right? We're already here. His other plans got canceled, so let's just go do the Idris Elba double feature. Well, we went into the wrong theater somehow.
Oh, you saw The Invitation.
And it took us, not knowing how the 3,000 Years of Longing was going to go, it took us a bit of time to realize we were in the wrong movie. And by then, we were very late for the other movie anyway, so we stuck it out. And let me tell you, it takes, I don't know, 50 minutes to even realize you're in a vampire movie.
Oh, kind of like From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Does it have that vibe?
No, it wasn't like that. Like, we knew something weird was going
vibe?
on, but based on the trailers, not that I'd been paying attention, I thought this was a movie where, like, she got invited to a wedding, and then the twist was, like, everybody wanted to, like, hunt her. Like, it was, like, the most dangerous game.
Let's do the 10-minute in twist. She's been invited to a wedding. Oh, it's vampires. Now she has to fight for her life.
Yeah, no, I thought this was that. There's like another movie where, like, I don't know, somebody gets hunted by all the people at the thing. I thought it was like that. And then
It's Ready or Not. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, then it turned out that they were just secret vampires. And then
Secret vampires?
Yeah, and then the more the movie tried to explain that, the dumber it all got. And none of it made sense. And the timeline was weird, and it was stupid. So, there you go. Yeah.
Wait. So you're stepping out on me? Who's this friend?
You don't live here, Joe.
Wait, they live there?
Yeah, they live here.
Oh, I thought they were visiting. That's what I misunderstood.
I did his TV pilot like 2 years ago out here. You could live kind of close, and it still takes an hour to get to them. So
yes,
you know,
I'm
make
aware
kind
of
of a thing of it. So into the movies. Last night, though, I went to the little art theater nearby, and they were playing Once Upon a Time in the West.
Just playing it?
Yeah, just playing it. Yeah, they were screening
Wow.
it. That movie is awesome. I've seen it before, so I knew it.
I haven't, but I wanted to.
But my goodness, like watching it again, you're like, shit. Like everybody won't shut up about, whoa, look how great Dune looks. And I go, this movie looks great in 1968. And they didn't even need computers. This is a cinematic movie.
That's what I'm saying, though. But Dune looks good because it's like they won't make anything that looks good like that anymore. So when you get something that looks nice, it's like, oh, they tried.
No,
they tried.
Impressive. Every character is revealed incredibly. All of it works. There's some dialogue's a little meh, but compared to what I just saw in Beast and the Invitation, fine. Most of the time, people aren't speaking anyway, so it's fine. Like everybody goes on about like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Fistful of blah blah blah. Well, and those are good movies. But this movie, amazing. Yeah. Let me tell you why, because I didn't notice this except in this viewing. The story by credit goes to Sergio Leone. Well, obviously he knows how to make. He's directing the movie. He knows how to make westerns. Dario Argento. Famous giallo filmmaker.
Yeah.
And Bernardo Bertolucci, who in just a couple years will himself come out with Conformist, one of the all-time great films. You basically have the Italian filmmaker supergroup.
Yeah.
You throw in Antonioni and you basically got the Beatles. Like, that's the strength of all of these filmmakers. So, of course, this movie's going to be awesome with unique choices and interesting ways of subverting normal tropes and giving you something you hadn't experienced before. Movie's awesome. Highly recommend for all you out there.
Excellent.
Find the 2 hours and 45 minutes to watch it. It is worth it.
My friend, that's nothing. That is nothing compared to what I've put in this week.
Yeah, what did you get into?
I finished off my Ridley Scott watch through.
Oh,
Under 3
all
months,
right.
I got through 27 Ridley Scott movies.
A very Ridley Christmas.
Yes, I spent a whole day in the vineyard with Russell We had a good year.
Yeah. All right.
Did you ever see that one?
No.
It's okay.
Yeah,
You
I'm
don't
fine.
need to.
I'm
You
not
can skip
sad.
that one. I have actually seen it twice now in less than like 6 months.
Well,
I watched it at the end of last year, not expecting to do a Ridley Scott watch through, and I was like, "Oh, it's only got a few days left on Prime. Might as well get through it." And then I was like, "Oh, I'm watching them in order," and I came back to this one. All right, you know what? I liked it more on the second time. It was pretty good.
all right. There you go.
I had to pick a movie for Tanya and I to watch on Sunday, I believe, and I was like, what to watch? So I threw on The Taking of Pelham 123 from 1974, starring Walter Matthau.
Ah, that one I've seen.
Yes, it's a great one.
Yeah, that one's good.
And she was like, why do we have to watch this? And so she's on her phone for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, she's there, and she's like, where's Denzel Washington?
Yeah, no, I don't even think she knows about that one.
Okay.
And I told her, though, the mayor in that one, the one that keeps like coughing and sneezing, I'm like, hey, that guy was played by James Gandolfini in the remake. And yeah, Walter Matthau was played by Denzel Washington. Yeah, it's great. But 15 minutes in, she looks up from her phone. She's like, hey, this is pretty good. She got sucked in. It was great. We had a fun time watching that.
I like that she enjoyed it while looking at the phone.
Well, she put the phone down at a point.
She's paying attention enough to realize she's enjoying the movie, and then it's like, all right,
she
there you
was
go.
getting sucked in. It was great. Oh, and then I watched some Ari Aster, which apparently you've seen that you've never told me. Why wouldn't you have told me that you watched that, the strange thing about the Joneses or something, right?
Well, he wasn't anybody. I saw it basically around the time Hereditary came out. And
what?
Yeah, that was it. I don't know. I watched that. I watched this. And the one with the girl, she ended up getting onto a TV show around that time, too.
I stopped at the Joneses one because I was like maybe 5 minutes into the beginning of it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to show Tanya this. And then, so she watched it and she's like, never show me shit like that ever again. And then that's when we watched The Taking of Pelham 123.
Okay.
But yeah, I was going to go down that rabbit hole. I might go do that this weekend, though.
I mean, there's not many.
There's 11. He has 11 movies.
11 movies or 11?
Well, like short babies. Like, they're like 9 or 12 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of them are fine.
I was swept up with the Joneses one.
Yeah, the Joneses is basically what gets him into Hereditary.
It's crazy. I
But
can't
like that,
believe
and
that
that's
exists.
his AFI thesis. So like that's his biggest one.
I was impressed, and I was like, okay, show me what you can do with Joaquin Phoenix now.
Yeah, I mean, I was hungry for stuff after Hereditary because I enjoyed that a lot. And then the short films were like, okay. And then Midsommar came out, and I went, okay.
You don't like Midsommar?
Nah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the minority. I'm not impressed or blown away. Hereditary was sort of interesting. It did new ground. Had some rules problems at the end, but other than that, pretty fun movie. Midsommar, I was like, all right, I've danced this dance before. I'm moving on.
Are you going to watch his new one?
Yeah,
when it comes
I will.
Out next year?
Quite frankly, I find a lot of filmmakers fall into a sophomore slump for any number of reasons. So I don't hold the second film against a lot of filmmakers.
I really loved Midsommar. I got the A24 director's cut because that's like the only way you can watch it. And I've been meaning to watch it, so I might watch it after I finish all of his shorts.
Yeah, go
I'm very
for
excited.
it.
I was really just taken by him.
Yeah, most people did like it. Again, I'm in the minority. I've seen other of these folk horror things, and I'm like, well, it's just the same shit but less fun. I don't know.
Okay, I can see that.
Field in England's kind of weird. Obviously, the first Wicker Man is just like nuts. Like they're all kind of kooky, and this is just I don't know.
Did you see the Nicolas Cage Wicker Man?
Yes, that one was
fun.
just dumb.
Did
this
you see
one at least wasn't dumb. It didn't get in its own way, Midsommar.
Yeah.
But nothing surprising or unusual happened in this. It was just basically exactly what I thought was going to happen. So what do I care?
So you were definitely expecting for them to cut off their pubic hair and make people eat it?
Okay, maybe not that very specific thing.
I'm just being an asshole. I know what you mean.
Okay.
We can move on.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll move on. We'll do the show.
All right, let's do the show. Yeah, that's good.